Hello students, let us see example number 13. Based on the galvanometer and the ammeter, an electrical circuit is given. The current is to be measured. We have to measure a current. What is the value of the current if the ammeter shown, part 1, is a galvanometer with a resistance of 60 ohms. So in the first case, if we assume that this ammeter is a galvanometer, that is galvanometer is used directly to measure the current. The resistance of the galvanometer given is equal to 60 ohms. The external resistance is 3 ohm. The battery is of 3 volt. So if we assume that this galvanometer is used to measure the current, then what should be the current? So directly I will be equal to the potential of a circuit divided by the total resistance, that is R plus Rg. So that is a Ohm's law only. So I is equal to 3 upon 60 plus 3, that is 3 upon 63, that is equal to 1 upon 21 ampere. So you can calculate this value, that is 1 upon 21. Second part, is a galvanometer described in A but converted to an ammeter by a shunt resistance. So in second part, in the first part, we assume this ammeter to be a galvanometer. Now it says that we convert this galvanometer into an ammeter by a shunt resistance. So we know that we should connect a shunt parallel to the galvanometer. The resistance of the shunt is 0.02 ohms given. So the circuit take this form. Again we have to find out the current in the circuit. So now in this situation, again the equation becomes I is equal to V upon R plus, now this is a parallel combination, so Rg Rs upon Rg plus Rs. So you substitute these values, you will get an answer in ampere. So it is a direct application of the numerical. And in the third case, it is given that we assume it as an ideal ammeter with zero resistance. So if it is an ideal ammeter, then what will happen? Rg will be 0 and Rs is also 0, means no resistance is there, only the external resistance is left. So I is equal to V upon R, that is 3 upon 3, that is equal to 1 ampere. So this numerical try to explain the same thing we did in the last lecture. Say when you do this calculation, it is 0.048 ampere. Then, so if I use the galvanometer directly to measure a current, it will measure this much only current because its resistance is added. But when I use a shunt, its value become 0.99 ampere. That is, the resistance of the circuit will decrease due to this parallel combination. And if I assume this entire resistance is 0, then the correct value comes out to be 1 ampere. So if the ammeter has a 0 resistance, the real value comes out to be 1 ampere. If we use a shunt, then it is approximately equal to 1 ampere. But if you use galvanometer directly as an ammeter, then there is a vast difference because the resistance of the galvanometer is very large as compared to this external resistance, and so the current in the circuit will decrease. Now come to exercise question number 9. we have a square coil of side 10 centimeter. So length of the square is 10 centimeter, that is 10 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter. Consists of 20 turns. So N is equal to 20 turns and carries a current of 12 ampere. So I is equal to 12 ampere. The coil is suspended vertically and normal to the plane of the coil. Makes an angle 30 degree with the direction of uniform horizontal magnetic field of 0.8 Tesla. So the coil is suspended and the area vector makes an angle of 30 degree with the magnetic field of 0.8 Tesla. What is the magnitude of the torque experienced by the coil? So it is a current loop in a magnetic field where this square loop is suspended in a magnetic field which makes an angle of 30 degree. So let us assume this is the B vector. So clearly when the current flow through it, the torque act on it, and we know that torque formula was given as beta sine theta. So it becomes BIN, area of the loop, that will be the square, that is L square sine of 30 degree. So all the values are given, you substitute all the values and find out the magnitude of torque acting on the loop. So do this as an exercise. So torque is equal to Newton meter. So it is a direct substitution method. Then come to question number 10 of an exercise. In question number 10, we have a two moving coil meters M1 and M2 have the following particulars. That is, we have a two coils M1. So its resistance is 10 ohms. Number of turns is 30. A1 is equal to 3.6 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter square. The magnetic field is 0.25 Tesla. And we have another coil whose resistance is 14 ohms. Number of turns is 42. Area is equal to 1.8 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter square. And its magnetic field is 0.50 Tesla. The spring constant are same for both. So let the spring constant is K. So this K is same, that is spring constant. So K is equal to spring constant. Determine the ratio of current sensitivity and the voltage sensitivity. So we have to measure the current sensitivity and the voltage sensitivity of both the coil. We have to determine the ratio. So we know that the current sensitivity, let us name the current, denote the current sensitivity symbol by S, that is equal to phi upon I, and that was equal to Ben upon K. So current sensitivity was, for a low amount of current passed through the coil, the deflection is large. So less is the current, or small amount of current produce a large deflection on the torque is called its current sensitivity. So we name this S. Now we find that this current sensitivity is directly proportional to Ben because K is constant. So we write S is proportional to BAN Ben. Now it is given that the resistance is given, everything is given to us. We have to find out the ratio of this sensitivity. So S1 upon S2, that is the current sensitivity of the coil 1, that is M1 and M2. So it will be equal to B1 A1 N1 upon B2 A2 N2. So we have a B1 A1 N1 B2 A2 N2. We substitute this value and find here. So this is the current sensitivity. Directly we can find out. So that is the first part. Now second part, you have to find out the voltage sensitivity also. So voltage sensitivity can be easily found by using the Ohm's law here. So V is equal to IR. So I can be written as V upon R. So in the place of I can write V upon R. Then this R comes to this point. So the voltage sensitivity, let us name this as SV. So voltage sensitivity formula becomes phi upon V, that is equal to band upon KR. So in the place of I, we write V upon R and then R is taken to that side. So this ratio, this is the deflection per unit voltage, that is called voltage sensitivity. And the deflection per unit current is called the current sensitivity. So we can write SV is proportional to band upon R1. Now band is directly I. The band is directly I. So because we have found the current sensitivity, we can directly write this as band can be written as S1 upon R1. So we have to take, either you substitute all the values or you divide the current sensitivity by the resistance, because band upon K is a current sensitivity. So that is S1 and this becomes R1. So we write this voltage sensitivity formula can be written as band upon R1 or R, and that can be written as S upon R, where S is the current sensitivity. So SV1 upon SV2, that is the voltage sensitivity of coil 1 to the voltage sensitivity of this 2 coil, can be written as S1 upon R and divided by S2 upon R. So the formula becomes, for the ratio, that will be S1 upon S2 multiplied by R2 by R1. Now S1 upon S2, whatever answer you find here, you substitute this value here. So we find this value, it can be substituted here, divided by R2. So R2 is 14 upon 10. So whatever is the current sensitivity at this, you multiply it by the respective resistance, that is R2 and R1. So this is the formula for current sensitivity and the voltage sensitivity, where we find the ratio for coil 1 and coil 2. Now come to question number 13 of exercise. 11, 12 we have completed in the previous lectures. So now the next numerical is question number 13 from the exercise. So a circular coil, so we have a circular coil whose turns are 30 and the radius is 8 centimeter. So coil having 30 turns carry a current of 6 ampere. So current is flowing in this coil, is suspended vertically in a uniform horizontal magnetic field of magnitude 1 Tesla. So B is equal to 1 Tesla. The field makes an angle of 60 degree with the normal of the coil. So theta is equal to 60 degree. So if I suspend the coil like this, having n turns, its area vector is like this. So this is the direction of the magnetic field. So it makes an angle 30 degree. With this, the normal of the plane or the coil makes 60 degree. Calculate the magnitude of counter torque that must be applied to prevent the coil from turning. So again, we know that applied torque is equal to beta sine theta. So the counter torque was known as a restoring torque. So magnitude of restoring torque will also be equal to beta sine theta. B we have here 1 Tesla, current 6, number of turns 30, radius is given, that is 8 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter, and it is a circular coil. So pi r square into sine of 60. So you substitute this value and find out the restoring torque. Then the second part is, would your answer change if the circular coil in the first portion is replaced by a planar coil of some irregular shape that enclose the same area? So now instead of this coil suspended, we have some irregular coil, but it is given that the area of the coil is same. That is, whatever is the area of this circular coil, it have a same area. So area of the coil does not change, only the shape has changed. So whether this answer would change? So clearly no, the torque remain same, as it depends on area and not the shape. So as far as the area is concerned, if it does not change, because your torque depends on the area, so as far as n does not change or a does not change, the value will not change. So whether it is a square or rectangle or any irregular shape having same area as that of a circular loop, the torque will not change. Now let us say question number 27 of exercise. That is, we have to convert a galvanometer into a voltmeter. A galvanometer coil have a resistance of 12 ohms. So let us denote the resistance of galvanometer by G, that is 12 ohms. And meter shows a full deflection for a current of 3 milliampere. It means when 3 milliampere current is passed, the galvanometer shows full deflection. It means it is its current capacity. Passing current more than this value will damage the galvanometer. Now we have to use this galvanometer so that it can measure a voltage from a range 0 to 18 volt. It means we have to find out a series resistance. How will you convert this meter into a voltmeter? So we know that to convert galvanometer into voltmeter, a series resistance is to be connected. A series resistance is to be connected, and its formula was V upon Ig minus G. So we have to make a voltmeter of 18 volts. So 18 divided by 3 milliampere, that is 3 into 10 raised to minus 3. So 3 is brought in the numerator, 10 raised to 3 minus the resistance is 12. So it becomes 6000 minus 12. So see, we have also discussed that the resistance of the series resistance should be as high as possible. So see the value, it comes out to be 5988 ohms. So if I connect a resistance of this value in series with a galvanometer, it can measure a voltage up to a 18 volt. Come to exercise question number 28. See, these are the extra numericals. So this here we have omitted this from our syllabus. So these are not, as far as our board exam is concerned, these two numericals are not there. Still, we have studied the theory related to ammeter and the voltmeter. So we are doing this. 28. A galvanometer coil has a resistance of 15 ohms. And the meter show again full scale deflection. So Ig is equal to 4 milliampere. Current capacity. I have to convert this into an ammeter so that it can measure up to 6 ampere. See, I have to increase its range from 4 milliampere to 6 ampere. So again, to convert galvanometer into ammeter into an ammeter, a low resistance called shunt is connected in parallel to galvanometer. So we have to convert a low value resistance. So shunt formula was equal to IgG upon I minus Ig. So we substitute this value, it comes out to be 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 into 15 divided by 6 minus, now this 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 can be written as 0.004. So you do this calculation, the value comes out to be very small. You calculate this value. So when you do this calculation, this S comes out to be 0.01 ohm. So it is a low value resistance which should be connected. Ideally we have studied that ideally its value should be 0 and ideally its value should be infinite. Now let us see our shortcut formula. If the current capacity of galvanometer is to be increased n times, then what should be the value of shunt? So value of shunt should be G upon n minus 1. So if we have a galvanometer whose current capacity has to be increased, let us take this example. Here the original capacity of the galvanometer is 4 milliampere and you have to increase it to a 6 ampere. So we have used this formula. Now directly I can find out how many times the current capacity is increased. So I upon Ig, this ratio will give you the times, how many times the current capacity has to be increased. So it comes out to be 6 divided by 4 milliampere. So 4 into 10 raised to minus 3, that comes out to be 6000 divided by 4. So this comes out to be 150. So say this galvanometer capacity should be increased 150 times. So directly I can say the formula should be 15 divided by 150 minus 1, that is 15 divided by 149. So if you do this 15 divided by 149, it comes out to be 0.01 ohms. So this is the case. So if the current capacity of the galvanometer has to be increased n times, then you remember, instead of using or doing this calculation, you directly divide G by 150 minus 1, that is how many times. Generally suppose it is 40 say 4 ampere. So it should be 4 ampere capacity is given, so it will be 1000 times only. 100 times it becomes. So you do the calculation like this, 100 or 1000 times, whatever is the answer, you do this calculation. So this is one shortcut. If the current capacity of the ammeter has to be increased, you divide the resistance of galvanometer by n minus 1, where n is the range, how much time you have to increase the current. Sorry, you do the correction here. It is 6000 divided by 4. So it is 1500. So range has to be increased 1500 times. So it becomes 15 divided by 1500 minus 1. So that is 1499. So 15 divided by 1499. Now suppose you want to increase the voltage capacity. We want to increase the voltage capacity. So RS becomes N minus 1 times G. So sometimes they give you that increase the voltage capacity by 10 times. So you simply do 10 minus 1 G. Otherwise, let us again take this example. You find out I from this values, that is I can be written as 18 upon 12. That is the Ohm's law. We have taken I is equal to V upon G. So it comes out to be 1.5. So I is 1.5. And what is the current capacity? 3 milliampere. So Ig is equal to 3 into 10 raised to minus 3. So again, the formula for N is equal to I upon Ig. So that will be equal to 1.5 divided by 3 into 10 raised to 3. So this will be equal to 1500 divided by 3. So it comes out to be 500. So current here N is 500. So I take this as 500 minus 1, that is 499 multiply by 12. So you do this calculation and the value comes out to be 5988 ohms. So these are the formula for increasing the range n times. So you remember for ammeter it is G upon n minus 1, and for voltmeter the series resistance becomes n minus 1 G. N is the ratio of the current that has to be measured or which is to be measured, and Ig is the current sensitivity. So this is all about the ammeter and the voltmeter. Also we have completed our chapter number 4. Have a nice day.